doing so much damage, warping in Stalkers as a wall to prevent this, working on the cannon, and Renson at the same time is basically abandoning his base to the mercy of these Zerglings, warping in more units to do it while he pushes out, realizing that his own expansion has basically been shut down, and Ice has sacrificed those Zerglings to do this, and he's attacking right now. Stalkers going to work on this Spinecrawler, and there's Thermal Lance completed on this Colossi, but finally the expansion is clear for Renson, but he's lost basically all of his workers and hasn't done really that much damage with just one Colossi.
Yeah, this one Colossi cost him so much, and really just great play by Ice to go attack him, counter-attack with those Banelings, taking out a bunch, and the Zerglings to clean up at the end too. Before that attack, Renson actually had the bigger army, but I mean, these are an expensive Colossi, they take up a lot of food, but he's going to actually pick off this other expansion, so good scouting there. He did find that, so he's going to deny this the second expansion, sorry, from going down, at least for a bit longer. But his main force cannot penetrate this expansion, this main expansion, because there's so many spine crawlers. Now a bunch of mutalisks too to pick off any
yeah, this is a bit of a mistake here, getting his Colossi caught away from the protection of the rest of his forces, losing about half his shields. He did manage to save it, but looking like Ice is just going to go for it now, knowing that Colossi is weakened. Mutalisks going to focus this Colossi, and once that goes down, Renson's going to be a huge trouble. It's a big loss. Finally, the Colossi goes down now. All of his forces free to work in this line. The Zealots working their way through the Roaches, and the Stalkers have done a lot of damage to these Mutas, but the Colossi is down. Basically, both players inflicting a supply trade there with both armies going down. But Ice should be happy to do that, re-establishing his third, but good scouting by Renson, once again sending a probe just to make sure that he knows exactly what is happening down there. Looking like he wants to secure his own third right now, but it just seems that he's not really doing that much damage, whereas the Baneling bust into his probe line did so much damage, and then the follow-up Zergling harassment, and Ice seems to be doing the only harassment damage, while Renson doesn't really seem to be doing that much.
Looks like just a bunch more gateways being made as the Zerglings actually right on top of scouting there, make sure that the third expansion doesn't go down. As a bunch of these mutas coming around the back here, we'll have to see how much damage they do.
Yeah, no cannons in the main line. Looking like he's going to be able to work on the probes at his main base here. And he's going to see all these gateways going down, knowing he wants to transition to heavy gateway warp-ins. Going to be able to pick off some probes as well at the natural expansion, as well as just stopping the mining time, which can just be hugely important. Not only does he take actual probes out, but just shutting down the mining at that expansion is absolutely huge. And you're just looking at the economy here, it's 1100 compared to 480, factoring in that lost mining time, despite the fact he's up on the harvest account. And looking like more Zerglings going in the back. Are we going to see them warped into Banelings, or is he just going to go for it? Curious as to what this might be a really deadly attack if we see these Mutas coming in on the right-hand side, looking like he might split harass as they do come into Banelings. So these Mutas may force Renson's Stalkers out of position, and then he can once again go for the Baneling attack. But the Mutas are moving away now.
Yeah, I was curious there. If he attacked with all these mutas, he still can, because they're just outside the base. He could move all their Stalkers away. They're going to keep picking off these pylons. Going to force Renson to do something as he warps a bunch more Stalkers in. Now it's just a bunch of these Stalkers versus these mutas, taking out a bunch of these Stalkers, retreating back to the base, but there's only one cannon back there. He's going to be able to take out most of these Stalkers, if not all of them, choosing to move back though as the reinforcements are pushed in. But the Banelings, where did the Banelings go?
It was really a good execution there by Renson. He did not bite on that split harass. He kept his Stalkers in position and just dealt with the Mutas with existing units. Once again, Ice is splitting his forces. Mutas going in the back, Zerglings going around the left, checking for hidden expansions, just trying to deny his third. And Ice is just executing really well right now. His mechanics are really solid. Looking like Renson trying for a push, trying to do a bit of damage to these Mutas who are just going to run, to these Zerglings who are just going to run by while the Mutas go to his base, while Renson heads his forces to his third. Lots of action all over the place. These Zerglings going to work on the cannons at the natural expansion of Renson. Meanwhile, Renson going into his third. Ice got a lot of probes there though. Really needs to evacuate those. Bring in his own probes to his natural, and they're going to go down to the Zerglings. Meanwhile, it's going to be a drone barbecue at Ice's expansion right now. More Mutas fleeing the scene, going to try and come and deal with this main force of Renson. Lots of damage on both sides. These probes are still running from this Zergling on the left-hand side here, but now working on his natural expansion. Does not have many forces here. They were out of position. Mutas coming back to try and deal with this. Even bringing the probes into the attack line, looking like an all-in, but there's a ton of spine crawlers and only one Colossi. This is still up in the air right now.
a lot of these Stalkers doing so much damage. All the Mutas is the main army of here, but these Stalkers can do so much. Renson is actually doing so much damage right now with this small force. I mean, it's a lot of Stalkers, just one Colossi though. He's able to take out one expansion, cripple the second one. So there's 2 expansions gone. Meanwhile, the Zergling's finishing off the Protoss one too, doing so much damage because there's actually no mining going on for Renson right now. So this force he's got is all he has left.
Really classic base race situation. These Zerglings continuing to work on the units of Renson, now entering his main base, sending more Zerglings, but these Stalkers standing still. Renson really needs to engage right now because the longer he waits, the better it's going to be for Ice, who is getting these Ultralisks online. Ultralisks coming out right now, and he's going to have to micro really nicely to avoid these Ultras. That's what Ice is waiting for. His last minerals on these Ultras, has to keep them alive, needs to micro a little bit better. While this is going on though, there's Zerglings partying in Renson's base. Renson's in huge trouble, thinned out most of his forces. He waited way too long. Now he calls GG, and basically once those Ultras came out, it was doomed for that army. I feel that despite the fact he took out the third of Ice, he just lost so much to that split attack from Ice, and you know, Renson put in a good showing, but Ice was just too strong.
Yeah, just great play by Ice again, and those Ultras really saved the day in the end. It was just the base race, as you said, Seth, and yeah, I didn't really think it would end that way, but you know, basically the Ultras were the deciding factor, and great play by Ice.
Ice will move on. He hasn't lost a single game in this tournament yet. Not only has he emerged cleanly through the top brackets, but he's going to go through the 4th round without losing a single game, so he's performing really strong right now, whereas Renson will go down to the lower bracket. It is double elimination, so we will try and bring you more and more games from this tournament. We're trying to give you a good selection of different games. Can't cover every game, unfortunately, but we'll try and bring you the best games as much as possible.